This is the tibialis posterior loader. There are 7 main parts. The first is the base. The second is the rail or the track. The third is the foot plate. Fourth is the lever arm. Fifth is the linkage. Sixth is the stop on either side. And seventh is the resistance. The loader can easily be switched over from left side to right side use. As seen, it is set up for use with the right foot. To convert it over to the left side, simply remove the linkages, remove the axle pivot, start the pivot in the other side, and just replace the handle. Like so. It is now set up for left side use. Using the device, in order to effectively activate the tibialis posterior in people with a fallen arch or pes planus, the arch needs to be supported during the movement. In other words, the person will need to wear shoes with an arch support. However, it is best to teach people in bare feet without resistance so that you can cue them appropriately. For sanitary purposes, place a towel over the foot plate. Starting position. Sit with the uninvolved foot on the base to stabilize the platform. The anterior portion of the heel is then placed over the pivot point as marked with the white tape. This should correspond to the pivot point of the subtalar joint. Viewed from the front, or top of the device, the knee joint is over the ankle. Viewed from the side, the knee is flexed 80 to 85 degrees so that the ankle is plantar flexed 5 to 10 degrees. Performing the exercise. Exert a submaximal plantar flexion moment without flexing the toes to keep the first and fifth MTP joints in contact with the platform. Then move the forefoot into supination, creating movement in the subtalar joint while minimizing tibial rotation. People generally have difficulty keeping the forefoot flat during the movement without gripping the plate with the toes. Like so. This is the primary reason to instruct people in bare feet. To help them get the feel of the movement, ask them to extend their toes while plantar flexing the foot, and repeat several times. You may describe this as stepping on the gas. Then have them place their foot on the plate and do the same thing. Now ask them to move the foot into supination while keeping the heel and forefoot in contact with the plate. A little toe flexion is okay as long as they are not lifting their forefoot from the plate. An instruction you may use is step on the gas, move the foot inward. 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 Another cue you can use is to have them pay attention to the arch rising during the supination phase and falling during the pronation phase. Arch rises, arch falls. Arch rises, arch falls. You can verify contraction of the tibialis posterior tendon by palpating the tendon just behind and below the medial malleolus. Additionally, the tibialis anterior tendon should remain lax. If the tibialis anterior is not remaining lax, instruct the person to step on the gas more. After several repetitions, the exercise should be felt in the lateral calf, which corresponds to the origin of the tibialis posterior. Pay close attention to whether supination is occurring with movement in the subtalar joint. Observe the medial ankle under the malleolus. The best way to facilitate subtalar movement is to begin without resistance. You may have to cue the movement by assisting the foot into supination as demonstrated. Once the movement is learned, resistance can be added. For some people, the first resistance may only be a small band. As the tibialis posterior gets stronger, you may increase the resistance as long as they can maintain movement in the subtalar joint. There is generally only 10 to 15 degrees of movement into adduction from midline, so the last 2 to 3 inches of the track is generally not used. If the user is going further, the additional movement is likely coming from tibial rotation. If you observe compensation with tibial rotation as demonstrated, re-instruct or reduce the resistance. Another option to control tibial rotation is to lean the device against a low step. This will extend the knee and stabilize the tibia. Using the lever arm. The handle allows eccentric or concentric only training. For concentric training, the foot moves through the resistance phase and the lever arm is used to return the foot to the starting position. Concentric contraction, relax, lower with the lever arm. Concentric contraction, relax, lower with the lever arm. For eccentric training, the lever arm moves the foot through the supination phase and the foot is returned to the starting position. Move the foot into supination, hold, and lower to the starting position. Move the foot into supination, hold, and lower to the starting position. By using one finger, the lever arm can also be used to facilitate a steady, continuous, even movement. Using the stops. The stops can be used to limit movement into pronation. Generally, people with the tibialis posterior dysfunction will have a lengthened tibialis posterior, which cannot adequately support the arch. To promote adaptive shortening and strengthening of the tibialis posterior in a range that will better support the arch, the movement can be performed from the neutral position into supination. Adjust the stop to limit pronation past neutral. Other uses. The tibialis posterior loader can also be used in reverse to strengthen the peroneals, which may be found in people with chronic ankle sprains. Simply change the resistance over to the opposite side and perform the opposite movement.